now turn to the final round of paper speakers this evening. The fourth speaker for the proposition is Pollyanna Greene Wright. She's a first-year student studying classics at Manual College and won the right to speak through open audition. You have the ears of the House.
Right, so, sorry. Firstly, I'd like to thank the President and the Debates Officer for providing me with the opportunity to speak in this hall tonight. It truly is an honor. I'd like to start off my speech by saying that yes, I am a third-generation atheist, and I'm proud of that, but I'm not coming to this debate from a position of inherent hostility towards religions, and I'm not ignorant of the fact that religion is capable of good. I believe it's essential that proposition accepts and acknowledges that religion has historically provided some good to society. My issue, therefore, today is not that religion is inherently bad, but rather that religion continues to be exercised as an incredibly powerful and influential mechanism for the control of people, for the control of women. Religion requires its adherents to conform or to be ostracized. And it's undeniable that religion is incompatible with women's rights and feminism due to its inherently patriarchal foundational ideology that has evolved to perpetuate the subservient role of the female and the dominant role of the male. So yes, let's get into it. Let's say, yes, we do agree that religion can be good in some circumstances, especially in the historical context. Previously, religion has provided us with a shared set of values in order to ensure social cohesion, right? So things like the Ten Commandments give us a wider societal stability by providing a shared set of values which we can all agree on. Things like the emphasis on marriage, monogamy, and sex being viewed as an activity for the purpose of producing offspring used to be beneficial in a world which was turbulent and life was unpredictable. However, since those embryonic days, society has developed, okay? It's no longer necessary for the woman to solely be occupied with childbearing and homemaking because she is being removed from the decision-making of the social unit. With scientific advancements like paternity tests, we no longer need to worry about women having multiple sexual partners jeopardizing the identity of the father of our children. Contraception is more accessible than ever, and women have more opportunities in society now because they are more educated, enfranchised, and employed than they ever have been. Crucially, we have more information and doctrines and philosophies ever to guide us. So I ask this House, fundamentally, what is left that religion has to offer women in the 21st century which is actually beneficial to them? What is there which is not inherently patriarchal, inherently anachronistic? Because when all is said and done, I'll make some progress and then I'll accept some. When all is said and done, all I see are many unfortunate remnants that are patriarchal. So let's get into it. Let's address some of these issues. First of all is the point of sexual control. And don't worry, gentlemen up top, I did hear your POI and I will be addressing contraception. So this idea of contraception is something that has fundamentally always been used against women. Religion have always viewed sex as an act solely designed to produce children, and it's something that should only be done within the confines of marriage. So the Catholic Church, for example, has always denied women the right to contraception. Pope Francis recently, as last year, telling people that any use of birth control was intrinsically wrong. This is anti-feminist because it reduces women to a utilitarian state in which they are solely seen as a mechanism of pregnancy rather than a human being with her own desires. Moreover, this status of women as being a caregiver role model in society is perpetuated by religion. In Ephesians 5:22, we are told, "Wives, submit to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. As the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything." There is a narrative of submission here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I know that some people on side opposition would argue, but no, this is a positive submission, isn't it? It's a separate but equal narrative. But is it actually, ladies and gentlemen? Because even if it may be positive, it is still inherently a submission. And although, yes, go on, please.
In that passage in Ephesians, the man is told to lay his life down for his wife, and the same that Christ laid his life down for the church.
Yes, I've heard that, but in practice, how does that actually pan out? Because my whole point in my speech is that whilst religion may not intrinsically always be anti-feminist, it is the bad actors who interpret this. And this is something that side opposition has consistently dodged throughout this debate. They refuse to acknowledge that religion, unless God comes down here and gives me his opinion himself, I have to deal with the man-made church and what they are saying. I have to deal with this physical manifestation, and it is one that is inherently patriarchal in every respect. So, no thank you, I must make progress. Right. moving on. The second issue that I have with religion is that it perpetuates a temptress narrative, okay? Religion has a very nefarious way of blaming women for the woes of the world. Even in ancient polytheism, it's Pandora who opens the jar and lets all the evils out into the world. Eve is the one who is deceived by the snake and is the reason we don't live in the utopian Garden of Eden anymore. Religion it says that the woman is the original sinner. It leads us to segregate society, chastise women out of fear of their potential to remove power from men. So for example, women worship separately from men in mosques. Oftentimes this is not to distract them. There's segregated religious schooling in the UK. Women are seen as temptresses to men, swaying them from the righteous path, taking them further away from God. This is why, although whilst religious texts often place equal emphasis on men to obey modesty conventions, it is often the woman who is told to veil. It is often the woman who has the onus being placed on her to bear the responsibility, no thank you, of how she is perceived and subsequently treated. Thirdly, we have this narrative of male fear and control. So we had Bishop Rose come up here and say, I am not questioning what man has created. Well, I am, actually, because fundamentally, what is religion organized as it is that we're debating, if not a patriarchal creation, okay? Because fundamentally, in mainstream monotheistic religion, female subservience to the authority of the male is paramount. While the scripture itself may not always be malicious, we should fear the bad male actors who co-opt it for their own malicious benefit. So just look at the women life freedom movement in Iran in 2022 after the murder of Mahsa Amini, because the theocracy's morality police decided she wasn't wearing her hijab appropriately. Or the fact that after the overturning of Roe v. Wade in America, we now currently have some sort of new age Gilead 2.0 on the rise. You know, time and time again in all cultures, religion is capitalized on as a mechanism of control against women by men. And because religion is inherently influencing culture, the initial philosophies of these faiths that limits female sexual freedom, whilst possible to initially be interpreted in good faith, inevitably lead to misguided excuses for horrific cultural practices, such as honor killing, such as female genital mutilation, such as forced marriages, all for the sake of maintaining these religious values, all for the sake of oppressing women. Now, I know what people have been saying on this side of the house. They've been saying it's not religion, it's just the patriarchy. And yes, I agree that there is the possibility that we can have societies which do not only, which are not religious, but do have patriarchal elements. You can look at China, for example, the fact that they're intensely anti-religious, they still have a patriarchy problem. I accept that. I'm not saying religion is the only cause of patriarchy. However, ladies and gentlemen, what is the fundamental problem here? Why are they so incompatible? They are incompatible because religion perpetuates the subjugation of women by holding on to dated beliefs about women's roles in society, and it proves to be inflexible enough to be continually used as a weapon, as a firebrand against those who would like to modernize their religion. Just look at the fact that there's oftentimes, anytime we try to modernize religion, an immediate backlash from fundamentalist conservative groups who see it as a woke theft and dilution of their religious beliefs. Just look at the fact that the culture wars in America are being pushed forward on the right side by prominent conservative religious groups. Any progress that has been made recently in religion has been through successful adoption of secular feminist movements that the churches have reluctantly co-opted in order to maintain some degree of relevance in society, because they are dwindling. No thank you, because I must finish. So fundamentally, ladies and gentlemen, do not let opposition stand up here and try and lay claim to a tight walking faith in which they cherry pick the best parts of scripture, they cherry pick the best parts of religious values, but they leave out the manifestation of God on earth by man, in which there are patriarchal teachings present and always have been. Their religion, like their argument, exists in the positive utopian hypothetical, but ours exists in the reality. And my God, as a woman, I'm tired.